Sleep Token is one of the most commercially successful modern metal bands to emerge in the last decade. They hit number 1 on the Billboard 200 last year. They're currently the 6th highest grossing live metal act in the world. That's insane considering that their first album came out less than 7 years ago, and they're already outselling veterans like Deftones and Korn in ticket sales, and Tool and Megadeth in streams. And yet a huge portion of the metal community says the same thing. I don't get it. Maybe you think they're overrated, maybe you think they're sellouts, maybe you think it's all marketing and face masks, or maybe you've tried listening but it just didn't click. To be honest, that was me too. So instead of arguing about whether the music is good or bad, I want to ask a better question. Why are they so successful? What's up everyone, my name is Eric Gerber. I'm a composer-producer who helps modern guitarists write and finish better songs more often. This video isn't a how'd they get so big or the rise of blank. I'm not really interested in history lessons, I'm more interested in the music. Specifically how Sleep Token are writing songs that put them commercially so far ahead of other modern metal bands. Because commercial dominance at this level doesn't happen with average songwriting. Not in heavy music, not for 7 years straight. I remember when I first heard about them. It was late 2019, right before the peak of COVID hit. A friend and I were talking about new music discoveries when he said, "The music's good, but what's really crazy is their marketing. No one knows who they are. They wear face masks. They've built this whole religion around a god called sleep. It feels like a proper cult." And I'll be honest, I was intrigued immediately. That kind of mystery creates urgency. Not, I'll check it out someday. More like, I need to hear this right now. So I did. And I couldn't get into it. I tried. I gave the album a good 10 listens through, in the car, while exercising, even just sitting in my studio. I wanted to like them, but it just didn't stick. So after a while, I kind of forgot about them, assuming they'd just be a short-lived trend. Until 6 years later, when I saw this. Sleep Token hits 8 million monthly listeners on Spotify. What? That's when I knew there was something more than just marketing and gimmicks. Something in the music I wasn't hearing. Because marketing can spark attention, but it cannot manufacture long-term loyalty. If marketing alone created legacy acts, every major label debut would turn into a decade-long success story. But they don't. People return to music that connects with them. Good marketing gets them there, but the music is what keeps them coming back. And once I reminded myself of this, I realized there had to be something deeper in Sleep Token's music that I wasn't hearing at first. So I went back and listened again, this time as a composer, not as a casual listener. I wasn't looking for hype, I was looking for craft. Were the riffs better? Not really. Was the production miles ahead of everyone else? No. Were the vocal melodies catchier? Not necessarily. Was the genre blending groundbreaking? Not in my opinion. But something felt cohesive. Every section felt intentional. Every genre shift felt motivated. Nothing felt random. And on top of that, every song felt like it was a part of a bigger picture. And that's when it clicked. The music wasn't trying to impress me, it was trying to immerse me. Every musical decision reinforced the same emotional narrative without distracting me with flashy riffs or drum grooves around every corner. In other words, the music was telling a story. For example, take the opening of Chokehold.
When we were made, it was no accident.
The first time I heard it, I thought, man, what a long, boring build-up to the heavy parts. And then the payoff wasn't even that good. I mean, it's a cool riff and all, but not worth waiting 2 whole minutes for. But listening to it again with the story in mind, that slow, sparse intro suddenly made sense. Instead of filler, it felt like space. Time for the listener to process the lyrics and sit with the emotional tension before the impact lands. And what about Aqua Regia? The first time I heard that, I thought, okay, this is basically just a pop ballad. Nothing musically interesting at all, except maybe the jazzy part in the middle. But listening to the rest of the song again, it felt like a confessional moment in the band's story. Vulnerable, intimate, almost conversational. So instead of trying to impress the listener technically, the music is creating emotional proximity to the character through its storytelling. Why was this realization so groundbreaking? Because good storytelling in music is way more powerful than you might think. Storytelling is deeply ingrained in what it means to be human, arguably as much as music itself. Anthropologists suggest that long before written history, rhythm and melody helped early humans preserve and transmit important survival knowledge. In that sense, music and storytelling likely evolved hand in hand. Separate them, and you're left with isolated elements, like hydrogen without oxygen. Interesting on their own, but not the thing that actually gives life: water. A good song tells an emotional story, not just through the lyrics, but the instrumentation, the visuals, and even the artist's backstory. Let me explain. The lyrics are the most direct way a story is told. The instrumentation, or musical composition, supports the story and emotional message with all its elements: chords, rhythm, harmony, production, etc. This is also called prosody. The backstory gives context. Who is the artist? Where do they come from? What were they going through in writing the song? How does it have more impact coming from them and not someone else? The visuals reinforce the narrative and sometimes fill in the gap by saying, via implication, what the lyrics don't explicitly spell out. Things like album art, music video, clothes and makeup, and body language all send a message that can either reinforce or confuse the story. The more effectively the story is communicated through these 4 channels, the more emotional impact the song has. And I feel like us as guitarists, and any musicians really, except maybe for vocalists, have been indoctrinated to think that story in music is unimportant or secondary. To believe that what really matters is the skill at which you play your instrument and the decontextualized feeling you can create on your instrument. Ooh, that chord voicing's nice. Ooh, that lick got me excited. That drum fill hits hard. Which is cool, but meaningless if it isn't presented in a way that the listener can emotionally understand, or in other words, a way that supports the story the song tells. And has led to many conversations like this.
Oh my god, bro, did you hear the latest Taylor Swift trash? People are so brainwashed. They'll listen to anything the radio shoves in their ears. Same 4 chords, same boring drum beat, just mindless shit.
I've been there, and it comes out of a place of frustration because we don't understand why pop artists like Taylor Swift are so successful. But when you listen to a conversation between Swifties, it sounds more like this.
Oh my god, stop. This is definitely about Jo. The way her voice goes soft right before the drums drop out, that's intentional. And she's in that messy bedroom in the video. It's literally the same aesthetic from the Lover era, but darker. She's telling us exactly where she's at.
Sorry, old instincts. If you can look past the cringe with me for just a second here. What are the key differences we're hearing between these 2 conversations? The musicians are talking purely technical aspects of the music. Chords, drum grooves, etc. The Swifties are talking purely about story alignment, the prosody,
The way her voice goes soft right before the drums drop out,
the backstory,
this is definitely about Jo.
the visuals.
And she's in that messy bedroom in the video.
Love or hate Taylor Swift, her story alignment is excellent. You can see it in the way her fans instinctively respond to it. So, if you want your songs to have more impact, get better at telling stories through your music. Do you need lyrics in order to tell a story? No, you can absolutely tell a story with instrumental music, but you still need to define a story arc, and your musical composition, visuals, and backstory need to all align. Sleep Token don't just write songs, they build worlds. And when every element reinforces the same emotional narrative, the results feel bigger than the music itself. Now, is story alignment the only thing they're doing well? Of course not. Their musicianship, creativity, and production are also really good in their own right. But I think story is the foundation that the rest of it is built on. Because when the lyrics, composition, backstory, and visuals all point in the same direction, the emotional impact multiplies. And that's something we, especially in the metal community, don't talk enough about. In the next video, we'll put this theory under a microscope. We'll use their breakout track, The Summoning, as a case study and decode exactly how Sleep Token build that story alignment into the music. I'll link that video here when it's live. If you want to tell better stories with your own songs, I've made a worksheet inside my Song Finisher Roadmap that guides you through the process step by step, from defining the narrative to aligning it with the music. You can grab it for free in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment and tell me what your main takeaway was from this video, and see you in the next one.